I'll do it. Okay. We are via Zoom in session at our regularly scheduled meeting on this date of June the 8th, 2020 at 5, I've got 5:12 p.m. We have a quorum and we'll call the meeting to order. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting?
So moved. Ms. Garwood, so moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Building inspector report. Do you have one?
You all have that in your packet.
Yep.
Self-explanatory there. 16 since the last meeting. We've spent a little bit since we've met. You can see on there that probably the biggest one will be the new food city at $2.5 million.
Yeah, that's the 50,000 more on just their sign, right?
That would be correct. Yes.
Okay.
And that will include all the signage that company's doing from the out front to the building itself.
Okay. Any old business that we need to address before we go further? It's been so long, I don't recall any.
I don't know of any old business, Jim.
Okay. Then we'll get down to new business. Robert Cantley, is that you, Bob?
Yes, that's me.
Okay, 4-lot
Just so
subdivision.
you can't get in. So I'm just gonna take a picture of the call in and give it to him.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay. We're looking at a 4-lot subdivision on Alabama Avenue. Has submitted a final plat. Bob, would you like to tell us what you're wanting us to do for you?
Well, we had brought a preliminary, I don't know, several months ago, and we had made the mistake of putting some flag lots in there, trying to grab some extra space. Said we couldn't do that, so we brought it back, given looks like 110, 111 feet of frontage, big lots, almost 7/10, 3/4 of an acre, and a lot bigger than the ones that I'm building on now. I sold the one on lot 2, the house that we built on lot 2. We're about 60% done on lot 3. And then we're just going to move on most likely to lot 4 next, and then just keep on going down Alabama. So
Does everything look okay to you, Chad?
Yes, sir. And for those of you that can see it online, you can see they're abandoning a tract that's already there and re-subdividing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 lots that will be included in this one. For those of you that can't see on the screen here, I do have a final plat that Mr. Cantley provided to us. He does have all the final plat signatures that were requested. So there is a certificate of owner that has been signed. The 911 certificate has been signed, the surveyor's certificate, and the utility certificate stating that water and sewer are available to the property. All the corrections that were requested that you see in your agenda packet, the surveyor did make those corrections on here. He has shown the water and sewer lines along Alabama Avenue. So I don't see any other issues with the plat, and it has all the signatures that it needed. So I would be recommending approval of this plat.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve as submitted?
I'll approve it. I'll pass the motion.
Who was that?
Chuck,
Garwood made the motion, I guess. Allison said.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Second?
30. Whatever you need.
Is there any further discussion? If not, those in favor, aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay, unanimous.
and then how do I get it signed? Just take it down to the.
I don't know.
Just bring all the copies here to City Hall,
Okay.
and we will get Mr. Bohannon lined up to sign them for you.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal.
We're gonna talk about chickens now, Bob. You're welcome to stay or.
Well, it sounds exciting, but I think you're on your own on that. So I'm gonna check out, and I appreciate you all your help. I really do.
Wow.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Okay. Here we are, backyard chickens. Chad, where do
Well, I guess I'll take the lead on this. We were approached by a citizen the other day that we had found chickens in his residential backyard, and he has asked the commission to consider changing Ordinance 810 that we provided to you in your packet to allow for laying hens on residential property under 1 acre. Now, you all may recall we brought this to the Planning Commission 2017, and at that point we came up with Ordinance 810, and it was passed by the Commission in November, final reading in December of 17. And that set forth where livestock and fowl was only allowed up to a certain number per acre. This citizen has asked, and I've given you their printout before, where it says backyard chickens in bold. This is what he is suggesting. I made some notes in there with some references to our municipal codes. He has asked for 10 chickens per site, which I think is way too much for a residential backyard. If you all allow this, I would suggest no more than 2, and with the requirement that they have to have 3 to 4 square foot in the coop per chicken. He had referred to 1 square foot per chicken, and that is not what resources I can find suggest. They're saying 2 to 3 minimum square foot per chickens.
your comments?
And then in a run, they're asking for more in a run. He has also suggested that the chickens be left out to free range, so to speak, in the backyards during the day. I'm not too sure that this would work too well for us, because this is pretty much when we had the issue of collecting chickens on a daily basis about 3 years ago.
I think you need to touch on the disposal waste materials down at the bottom of that last paragraph.
Okay, and then we have if you look at the bottom of the first page, the owner should dispose of waste materials, feed, manure, and litter in an environmentally responsible manner, compost or bagged and disposed of in the trash. That is against our municipal code, as you see 2 paragraphs down. You're not to put waste or dead animals in our trash. He's also suggesting that birds that are basically weeded out or die disease are just put in the trash as well. That is against our municipal 50.01.
First sentence in that last paragraph ought to be on.
Right here. Last paragraph?
The last paragraph, that sentence right there.
That's what I just read to him.
No, that's far as we need to go right there. And add in the dead birds.
But how are they gonna dispose of them other than the trash?
Bury them.
Just bury them?
Yeah, it's like you do your dog or your cat.
So if you all look this over, you might have some more questions. I'm just trying to touch base on a few items. We would definitely need to we require the minimum of square footage of no less than 2 to 3 foot per chicken in a coop. And we need to set the square footage for a run per chicken.
Tina, you said you had a source that told you what the square footage was per chicken?
Yes, sir. I have searched the internet. I've called a couple of people that are well versed in raising chickens. It comes down to square footage. Now, there's different breeds of chickens and different sizes, but it's saying basically 2 square foot minimum for large birds and 1 square foot for bantams. However, for bantams, they've got to have at least 4 square foot per bird for a pen or a run, and 8 to 10 square feet per bird for any larger chicken breed.
You know, now we're talking about not having permits on these, like the cat and the dog thing. But then because we have a size limitation, we wind up trying to police that.
Right. There is absolutely no way after, and this is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, but after we have removed the canine and feline registration for the city that was such a problem, now we're going to go and tell people that they can have chickens, but they got to register them with us, and then we're going to have to release that.
And on the size requirements, I would say we go with the most restrictive, you know, that if the large bird is the most restrictive, needing the most square footage, I would say if you apply that to everything, then there's no question on what kind of bird it is and how much square footage they need, you know.
I mean, we understand these children have 4-H projects, but not all of the chickens that we've confiscated in the last 3.5 years have been 4-H projects.
Well, I mean, we're sitting here discussing square footage, but when it comes right down to it, we're not going to go out and check on the square footage, are we?
Well, if we have a complaint from a neighbor that says somebody's got 3 chickens in their yard in a coop, and it stinks, we're going to have to send codes or animal control out there to check it. And then we have to schedule citations, fine schedules.
The chicken police.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if the commission wants this, John and I will figure out a way to do it. But John and I have talked about this, and our only concern is that we're going to have immense amount of complaints again because the smell, when they're not taken care of appropriately, is horrendous. One good breeze and the smell is in your neighbor's yard. And the running at large would be another problem.
And I still hear roosters.
No, you're.
I don't know if Chad's taking me off hold yet or not.
There's one in town.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Yes, there are roosters still in town.
We're trying to get those, but truthfully, we had this Green Street. We had this turned into us last week, and we found it, and we've kind of put it on hold until this has been presented to you all.
Well, has everyone expressed their opinion about having the chickens?
I've not, and I will do that right now. When I was a freshman at Hiawassee College, and that was 50 years ago, there were chickens running loose all over the campus. That was just something they had. And from those chickens that were just running around, I contracted histoplasmosis and spent 6 months in UT hospital. It's the disease factor from the waste products of the chickens that bothers me for that very reason. I don't know if the wind can carry the disease from these critters or not. I'm not a biologist or anything like that and don't claim to be. I'm just a victim, but that was a half a century ago. I don't know if chickens have changed or not. But histoplasmosis is a real thing, and it's rough. It's a fungus on the lungs.
Yes.
Who brought this up, if I can ask?
This was brought to the attention of the city by Jason Wilson, who works for EUB.
And he has chickens.
He has 7 chickens in his backyard at this current time.
And he lives in the city?
Yes, sir.
He lives about 100 yards from me. He had 2 roosters, which gave us a pleasant sound 24 hours a day, but they're gone.
Yes, he did get rid of the roosters. The laying hens are still there until a decision's reached.
Now, we had an ordinance that prevented from having, I know it was roosters,
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know about chickens. Was it chickens
Well, no,
also?
back, as we discussed before you were able to connect, Ordinance 810 was passed by the City Commission final reading in December of 2017, where it limited livestock and fowl to a number per every 2 acres. And that should be towards the back of your packet.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
This is one we worked on for some time, and we came up with the 2 acre and the limitation. You had to have the minimum of 2 acres. Well, excuse me, you have to have the minimum of 5 acres, but you could have, say, 2 horses per every 2 acres.
Yeah, but he doesn't have 2 acres where he's located, does he?
No, sir. He's just a regular residential
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it's a 50 by 150 lot, I think. So he's already in violation of the ordinance, isn't
Yes, sir.
he? Yeah. And I apologize for getting in late. I was trying to get in on Zoom, but on my tablet, but it didn't work.
Yeah, we apologize for the technical difficulties. I think what happened is when everything got sent out, it changed the password and putting an uppercase letter in there that didn't belong in there. So that made it a little bit difficult. So we'll use numbers if we do this again next time, so it won't be an issue.
Okay. Well, hopefully we won't have to do this again next time.
Chad, can I ask you a question about what other cities or counties are doing?
As far as chickens
Well,
go, we've not dealt with this a lot recently in any of our other communities. I mean, there's a few that have some on the books, but it's just not an issue that's come up a lot recently. The last communities I can remember addressing was Powell's Crossroads, and that was probably about 5 years ago.
Well, I was led to believe that not a lot, but a number of cities and cities allow chickens, no roosters, and no waterfowl. And that changing our ordinance would be an easy thing to do. The significant difference was some cities, Knoxville, charged a $35 fee, and some cities, I think Chattanooga, did not charge a fee.
So you're telling me that Chattanooga allows chickens in your backyard?
Well, I was led to believe that it was in Hamilton County, yes. I could be wrong. The individual, Jason.
It could be in the county, but maybe not in the city.
Well,
I have not heard of many cities. Now, the cities I've been at, they have not been allowed within the city limits. No.
okay.
That doesn't say a whole lot, but
So I
I'm
was
trying
confused.
to look on MTS right now.
I just did a quick search on the internet and I pulled up, this is the city of Chattanooga code, and it references urban chickens. And it's got probably about 4 pages of information here.
So when you say urban chickens, does that mean they allow them in the city limits?
It appears
what that
that it says there is a permit required, an annual permit for any person keeping urban chickens in the city of Chattanooga. Let's see what else it says. Only 1 permit's allowed per permittee. The fee is $50.
We couldn't get him to
The
pay
renewal
5
fee is
per
$20.
adult.
Wow.
As we
Says you
all,
can have, in a residential zone in Chattanooga, you can have up to 10 laying hens for a single family dwelling. In the case of multifamily residential zone, without individually owned backyards, the maximum number of chickens allowed is 10 per complex. Only 1 female chicken are allowed. No rooster shall be kept in any zone other than agricultural zone.
permission to comment? Yes, I can.
Chad,
Uh,
Chad, let's go ahead.
The one thing that we are always concerned with in every meeting and about every decision we make is, as simple as this thing may appear to be, it's just a chicken, but what doors might we be opening up to other things?
Well,
You know,
that incident you described, Jim, of your freshman year at Hiawassee, that's pretty scary.
it almost killed me. I was in isolation at UT for a month.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it took me almost a year to get over
Chad, one more time, when you were referencing the ordinance in Chattanooga,
Sure.
you were saying domestic chickens, and they were only allowed to be in what kind of acreage?
It
Was
says-
city acreage?
Well, it says it's
Or
in
agricultural.
residential zones where it's permitted. It's permitted in pretty much every it says in all residential zones. It limits them to 10 laying hen chickens per single family dwelling, or in the case of multifamily dwellings, 10. Now, as far as the fenced in, what Tina was talking about on the other ordinance there, it says there's a minimum of 2 square feet per hen, which shall be provided for hen houses, and 6 square feet per bird for fenced enclosures. They also have to be kept behind a fenced enclosure at all times, with the minimum fence being at least 42 inches high.
I mean, in the past, and not to interrupt, but we have stockade fences in a lot of our yards, and we still had escaped chickens
They can fly unless they flip their wings.
for,
One of them.
I mean, my first year here, we were catching chickens on a regular basis.
Out of those low.
Well, I have to have a tendency to sort of slide with Jimmy also. We don't want to put anything in our backyard that's going to cause somebody to get sick.
Well, I'll repeat for the record, I'm not a biologist, and I don't know about this from 50 years ago, but I do know it was histoplasmosis, and they said it was from the chicken poop all over the campus. And the symptoms started out, I started just coughing and could not stop coughing. And they first thought I had TB. And then they came up after they did a bronchoscopy, I think is what it's called, where they put a camera down in your lungs. And 50 years ago, they didn't use any painkillers. It was rough. And they decided it was histoplasmosis, which is a fungus on the lung caused by the chicken waste. And that's really all I can tell you about it, other than, you know, it took me, I was at UT for 6 months, and then I was 6 months at home.
Wow.
Yeah. So much for, that's why it took me 15 years to get through college.
Let me, can I bring in something? I'm going to be the devil's advocate. From the way this conversation is going, you're not really sure you want to do that whatsoever. then I think we need to go to the source and stop the source. And that's coming through the school system, what do they call it? 4-H coming through the school system and encouraging these kids to take chickens home with them.
Yeah, take chicks home with them.
If you're gonna stop this, then you're obligated to go to the source and stop that. So I think if we're gonna, this way it's sounding is you don't feel too comfortable with it, then be that as it may, but then we need to take step 2, which is stopping the school and the 4-H from bringing them into the city.
I was neutral on this until Jim's situation came up, and I had no idea that had happened. And with everything that's going on now, yeah, do we need this disease now coming from chickens that somebody has in their backyard? And what if the person that catches them is not a family member? I mean, you didn't own the chickens, Jim, but you got the disease from the chickens. Well, what if the neighbor gets, you call it histoplasmosis? What if the neighbor gets it from someone that has chickens? I don't know. I'm not as neutral as I once was.
I don't know about weighing.
Table this discussion. I move we table this discussion, and if you folks want to find out any more about it, we can. If not, we'll just let it die on the table.
Yeah, we'll table it.
I'll make a motion, we table it.
Have a second? You know you don't need a second for table. The motion is tabled.
Okie dokie.
Did you guys go through the other stuff since I was a little delayed? And did you grant the 4-lot subdivision on Alabama?
Oh, we done been there. You don't come in here now and try to start from scratch back. Hey, I want to make a confirmation here. If we're gonna table this, and that's probably where it'll die a death, then what are we gonna do about the school system?
I think
Bringing the kids in here.
We need to, is the school handing out chicks to these children? Is that what they're doing?
They're working hand in hand with the 4-H on handing these chickens out and letting them raise them and getting whatever they learn from that. If we're gonna keep a person from doing it or our people from doing it, then they shouldn't be handing it to school kids.
Yeah. We're stopping it on one end and they're feeding it on the other.
I don't have a problem or an issue of going to school, Burke. I'd like for you to go with me, the two of us. Maybe and set up a meeting. Is it the principal or who is it that's doing it? It's under the auspices of the 4-H?
It's either gonna be Ding Dong or Fraser.
I can ask Fraser.
Yeah. We'll get a hold of Fraser and find out from him.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
all right, any other business besides backyard chickens?
Let me officially relinquish the chair to Mr. Adler for the record.
Thank you.
Who all do we have in here? When I came on, it said like 6 or 7, so.
It's too late for
I
you.
assume we have 4.
We do have a quorum per Chad. I have the mayor, John Trout, myself, and Eva here. We had Jean, Abbott, Alsop,
And Alverson.
and Alverson.
Good. And Jean, okay.
We did not have
That's
Mike Cheek or Hannon.
Or you.
Okay, is Charles there? Is Charlie here?
Yeah, he's on here.
Okay, we got it.
I think his video's frozen, but I see him on here.
Okay.
Come in a day
There he
late,
is. He's
dollar
waving
short
at us.
of it.
Well, so did I, yeah, much. All right, is there any other business we need to discuss?
I had one other thing, Jim. I know you can't see her on here, but Ashley Gates, who's a planner in our office, she's actually going to be taking over your community here in the next few months. we're making a shift with the planners we have in our office to try to better even out the workload. We've gone from 6 planners down to 3 at the moment, and we're trying to hire another one, but because of all the stuff going on with COVID-19 right now, we've instituted a hiring freeze in our agency, so we're not able to hire one of the planners back that we need to. So we're rearranging some stuff for right now. So I know you enjoy working with her. She's a very good person to work with, very knowledgeable. She has a master's in urban planning. But I don't know, Ashley, if you want to say anything.
It's
Yeah, how about
nice to
adjusting
meet
your rate?
y'all through the video. I'm excited to be out there more often. I go up that way to Englewood now with that planning commission. So I've been up to Etowah with my son because he loves trains. So we did do the train ride a year or so ago. So it's a nice little community, and I'm happy to come visit and see it and work with y'all.
Do you have any?
What was your name
You know
again,
what
Ashley?
City Hall is?
Ashley Gates.
Gates?
Ashley, you know where City Hall is?
Not off the top of my head, but I bet I can find it.
It's a new location now. They just
Oh,
moved.
okay.
You can't miss it.
It's right in front of
If
the
you know where
depot.
the depot is, you know where we are.
All right. Good deal.
All right. Chad, do you have any idea how long this Zoom conferencing thing is going to go on?
I know the governor's order only extended through the end of June. So I've not heard anything about that being extended at this time. So that's all we're able to do this online. I mean, I know everybody would like to get back to meeting in person. We've started going back to a few planning commissions now in person. But, you know, we also keep hearing the numbers rise around the area too. So there may be a time when we have to keep
I check the executive order listing once or twice a week to see if there's any updates. They just came out with some new updates for events and for recreation centers. They tell me that there's going to be more updates before the end of June. So if I see this, I'll let Chad know, or Ashley.
Okay. Yeah, because this is awkward.
Yeah, it's certainly been a learning curve for a lot of us.
This is my 3rd Zoom. I am an old timer at this.
You're just old, Jim.
I don't want to get Zoom bombed.
I miss all the cat pates of the world.
Oh, Mayor Garwood.
Call
I
being
tell you what,
recorded.
Mayor Garwood, why don't you and I get together and go meet with our superintendent?
Okay.
If I may interject before you go meet with him, I was doing a Google search on histoplasmosis, and it comes from chicken droppings among other things. And you may want to
Alert.
know a little bit about the disease before you go up there to visit with him, because this makes it sound like it's real easy to get it from chicken manure.
Okay.
Kids have picked it up from petting farms, from holding chickens and not sanitizing their hands.
Caves.
And I'm gonna take Ossoff with me up here and let him look at him. Said,
There you go. There you go. Take a survivor with you. Now, there's some pretty scary diseases that you can get from this stuff. Meningitis, pneumonia. So
Histoplasmosis is very difficult to treat too, because it's not a bacteria. We can treat a lot of bacterias, but it's a fungus, and the structure of a fungus is hard to get medication into. So it's really difficult to treat.
I took about 4 pills a day for 6 months.
I just wonder if the school wouldn't
Is even aware of it?
a large chicken coop on campus because of the issue maybe of disease. That may be something they
A registration for dogs and cats for $3 to $5. Enforcing a chicken registration for $50 is hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought the 4-H club was just in high school. Am I wrong?
Junior high and high school for 4-H.
Okay.
It starts about 7th grade all the way up to seniors.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. I have a second.
Good day.
Somebody second.
Okay, good talking to you, everybody. We'll see you.
All right,
Have a
bye-bye.
good evening, everybody.
All right,
Okay.
bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.